What's good, everyone? Welcome back to the show recap with Mo, where we're getting ready to talk a little bit about Tyler Perry's Sistas. But before we get into this thing, make sure to like and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss shiznit that's going down, alright? So let's go ahead and talk about it real quick, man, because there's a lot of questions that were unanswered in the previous episode, in episode number 6. And then as I'm watching and reading a little bit about episode number 7, I'm like, where in the heck are we going with this? So let's step back to episode number 6. And how I'm going to do this video, I'm going to talk about 2 to 3 people specifically, all right? So the first person I would like to get into is Sister Danni. Now, Danni, as we saw in the previous episode, sat down and had her very first for real counseling session, right? And she was able to deal with some of the demons that she was going through. She threw out some names of some of the gentlemen that she had dealt with throughout her life, through dating or whatnot. So she brought up Preston, she brought up Jonah, of course, and then she talked about a traumatic situation that she had back in college with the guy that she was dealing with. And that's cool, you see what I'm saying? But on the flip side, when she got back to her workplace, she was in Tony's office. Tony was coming in trying to talk to her or whatnot, and she seemed out of place. Well, honestly, she didn't initially. Like, she was sharing the story with whomever she was on the phone with, so I'm assuming she was talking to one of her girlfriends. But then it starts to get weird because as time progresses, he's trying to talk to her, but she's distancing herself from him. Now, at the end of the day, she just pretty much came back. She apologized about the situation, and she was like, yeah, you can come over. Because at first she was like, no, let me just, hang out and chill out the night to get my mind wrapped around everything that I've gone through. You see what I'm saying? So I thought that was good. And I honestly believe that she should have taken that time for herself, just by herself, for herself, to get herself together mentally before bringing Tony back over there, because I'm not sure, and it may just be me, but I think with the whole situation going down in next week's episode, or this week's episode rather, episode number 7, I'm like, with old boy bringing some kids in, and they up here getting their groove thing on, or attempting to get their groove thing on, and these kids walk in here and Tony's like, these are my kids? What the? So first and foremost, this is the first time that we've ever heard of, him having kids. We do know that he was in a previous marriage, but nothing came about some daggone kids, bro. And I'm like, dang. So what are you gonna do, Danni? Like, you see you wrapping up that dress or whatever you had on, like, your mind was on the love below. And now all of a sudden these beautiful kids come in and you're like, hold on, wait a minute, who are these folks? And he was like, oh, Danni, these are my children. What the So I'm like, it's over before it was over, because what they were trying to get on didn't happen because these kids walked in. So my question is, for Danni, is it over? And when I say over, I'm not saying like physically over, because I do believe that she would still hook up with him. But I think her trust level in Tony right now is going to be suspect. Because, bro, you never mentioned this. You never mentioned that you had a whole family outside of your ex-wife. Like, we knew you were married, but we never knew about this. And this can change the whole perspective of what she potentially saw within Tony. Because I'm like, okay, so what if Danni, hear me out, what if Danni was actually thinking that Tony could be her future, be her husband of the future, right? But then to see this vital information not being conveyed to Danni at a time when she's dealing with her emotions and past traumas and all of these things, and trust or lack of trust in men. So how would Tony deal with this situation? Because, damn it, I don't know what to say, man. But anyhow, moving on from there, I'm intrigued to know, Tyler, so I guess we'll find out on Wednesday. So anyhow, going on from there, let's deal with Sister Sabrina. Now, Sabrina has gotten herself in a sticky situation as well with brother Rich. All right. So Rich, as we all know, he's a cool guy, has his own business and whatnot. He loves Sabrina. Well, let me just say strongly likes, all right, because we have yet to hear him, utter the L word for Sabrina. But anyhow, we know that he really likes this woman, but his only issue is he and she don't see eye to eye on what the future holds. So Sabrina wants to be a wife. She also wants to be a mother. Rich, on the other hand, doesn't see the future with a wife, nor does he see a future with the children. So in this next coming episode, we see Sabrina telling her girlfriends, instead of Rich at this moment, I'm just going off the trailer, that, look, I've decided to freeze my eggs, and if Rich can't get on board with it, then I'm just going to have to go elsewhere. Now, I hope that she's going to stand on business when she's saying this, because eventually she's going to have to convey this same information to brother Rich. Now, Rich, in the previous episode, when, he tried to hurry her up out of the business because she started talking about babies and all of this stuff, and he was like, oh, it's rush hour, I got to get back to work, Now, that was lying, because when she got up out of there, she rolled up out, that man went straight over there to the corner like, what in the hell am I about to do? Because he knows that he's going to have to make a decision at some point, like, where are we going? And at their age, let's just be honest, ladies and gentlemen, at their age of 30-something, right? Time is not getting any better. So something has to be done, and I think that in this episode, hopefully we'll see Sabrina actually, stand 10 toes down, be able to convey the same information that she shared with her sisters, with Rich, and then they can come to some type of conclusion where they want this relationship to go. Like, maybe he will compromise and say, you know what, these are not the things that I want, but I want you, and I never foresaw this, but sometimes you can get with an individual and everything just seems right. And you got good vibes about this person. Not every time, but sometimes. And it works out. Sometimes it does. I'm not saying this is the case, but maybe this could be that type of situation, because just like Tony, I don't think Rich is going anywhere. So I'm quite sure they're going to have to do something to keep the storyline going. So we will see. And lastly, let's go ahead and deal with the elephant in the room. Miss Karen. Now, I don't know what it is about Karen fighting the fact that eventually she's going to have to prove that Zach is the father. Definitely, if you're talking about child support, all of that stuff, eventually it's going to have to all come out. So why hesitate? And that's my problem with so many people talking about, well, we already know Zach is the father. I mean, we already know that. How do we know? And if this is my thing. If Karen already knows that Zach is the potential father of the child within her, why hesitate? Why prolong the fact that eventually you're going to have to prove that he is the father, definitely with this potentially going through court, with child support and all of that stuff? Or maybe y'all will, fix it however y'all need to. Never been through that process, don't know how it goes. But this is what I'm saying. Fatima ain't got shit to do with it. Karen, this is on you. At some point, you and Zach have to sit down as grown-ass people, make your minds up, which we know you're eventually going to do, but I just hate that it came to a point where you had to hear from everybody, including your mother, who I don't care too much for, how she handles business. I know that, as your mother, she's looking out for you, but she had to tell you the facts. Now, I do not appreciate as well. Let me go ahead and say this. I did not appreciate how she's talking about, well, if you can go ahead and prove that it's Zach's, then all your financial issues could be over potentially. I'm like, what? I'm like, what? Where you get this from, Miss Lisa? See, when I started to, have a glimmer, just a glimmer of just hope in liking Miss Lisa, she threw that dagger in there. I said, here we go again. You cannot depend on a man to make sure that you good, that your child is good. He can lose everything tomorrow, and you may not be able to depend on that check, Karen. Don't listen. Don't fall for that shit. I'm I'm just being honest. Like, man, for real. And all these women out here talking about they independent. Do you know what that mean? Independent. But all of a sudden, when the times get hard or you feel like you can't make it through, now I'm independently focused on your money. But not too long ago, you were sitting up here like, we don't need you, we don't need you, we don't need you. But obviously you do, Karen. So go ahead, like your mother and everybody has suggested, even Miss Pam. Sister Pam has told you the same thing in her own type of way, to go ahead and figure out what needs to be done. All right. So with that being said, let me get up off of here. I will talk to y'all again tomorrow because I got 2 episodes coming out tomorrow night. One on Tyler Perry's Ruthless. Oh, y'all. Oh my gosh. It started off with a bang, man. And then I got another episode breakdown of Bruss. That's coming out as well. And then I will have the trailer breakdown of episode number 7 coming out to y'all on Tuesday. So be on the lookout for that. So with that being said, enough of the announcements. I will see y'all soon. As always, make sure to like and subscribe to this channel so y'all don't miss shit snit that's going down, all right? Talk to y'all soon. Peace.